horrible to see that happening. That's just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we'll have to get over it.
Look, I don't like this. I don't like to admit this. I don't like that this is a fact of life. But if you are a psycho and you want to make headlines, you realize that our schools are soft targets. And we have got to bolster security at our schools so that a person who walks through the front door We've got to bolster security so that if a psycho wants to walk through the front door and kill a bunch of children, they're not able to. And again, as a parent, do I want my kids' school to have additional security? No, of course I don't. I don't want my kids to go to school in a place where they feel like you've got to have additional security, but that is increasingly the reality that we live in.
This is Homefront Headlines. I'm Amanda Weinstein, and I'm here with my husband,
Casey Weinstein. Happy end of the week. We made it through another one, almost. Maybe I'm speaking too soon.
Almost. Lots of headlines to cover.
Yeah.
If you're doing your holiday shopping, here's something not to buy your teenager who's stressed out. That would be a revolver, which I believe the dad bought his daughter in the most recent school shooting. So that's something that we always have to report on, is there was another school shooting.
That is so incredibly sad.
Always in the
fact,
headlines.
I mean, and just like the inevitable debate of, well, no, why is this happening why does this happen in America?
Why are we the only country that has so many school shootings?
Right. And then because I'm at the State House and we have this discussion and I'm sponsoring many bills that, deal with this, you have this inevitable discussion of, well, they automatically say, well, you're going to try to take our guns away, all the guns. It's like this draconian, we're going to repeal the Second Amendment. I'm like, not at all.
What? Yeah, we are going to take the guns away from the children who need help from a psychologist.
Right. So
there's a reason we have red flag laws. Well, not everyone does. We don't. Some places do. There's a reason they do. The reason we all should.
Right. The kinds of bills that we're offering in the Ohio House, the Democratic Party, because we can't get a single Republican to support them, are enhancing background checks, are enhancing red flag laws so that people who are in imminent danger, especially like in this case, a minor, or an imminent danger to their family or their spouse, which is what most of these shootings revolve around, is like we have tools to be able to save lives. And it's not about ending the Second Amendment and ending all gun deaths.
It doesn't affect
sadly.
Hunting, right? If you're using a gun for hunting, there's not really like hunting emergencies, right? You can wait till you clear a background, get your hunting rifle and go hunting.
But it's also not about the ability to own a gun and protect your family. That's fine. Like what we're talking about, because there's a lot of responsible gun owners, what we're talking about is trying to reduce the number of gun deaths. Okay. Yeah. And then in a
very sensible, common sense way.
Right.
Red flag laws.
Right.
Safe storage. There's so much we can do.
Right. And then I get comments sometimes on my Facebook page. Well, criminals won't obey laws. I'm like, well,
do you lock your doors?
Should we get rid of stop signs? Maybe we should get rid of stop signs.
Not everyone.
Some people will inevitably run the stop sign. We should just get rid of them. Why have laws? Because most people adhere to them and they save lives. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So should government try to save some lives in this case? Governments at all levels,
Yeah.
An interesting one I'm working on right now is celebratory gunfire, where Ohio prohibits cities from being able to regulate, where you have a lot of people living together, hundreds of shots every major holiday, especially New Year's Eve, and put people at risk.
Yeah.
And in Ohio, we don't allow cities to regulate celebratory gunfire. So
which can kill people.
Yeah. And it's just gotten to this absurd level where, something happens because we have so many guns and so easy access to guns. And then it just, they dig in and they're like, no, we can't do anything about it. And it's just dispiriting. It's sad.
A lot of bad news. Good news. I think Trump's found someone even crazier than he is. Which would be Elon Musk.
Also the richest man, in the history of the world.
Oh, who completely, we read the article. I sent you the article about how he is just failed up repeatedly from, who's the author that wrote the article?
Seth Abramson.
Yes. So good. Oh my gosh.
Shout out for that. Oh,
I know.
thumbs up.
I mean, that deserves a thumbs up.
Yeah.
The article, like, first of all, I've never been a huge Elon Musk fan, but there were so many things that even I believed about him that I no longer believe after reading this article about Elon Musk. And the incredible amount of failing up that we allow, usually
rich people,
rich white men,
right,
is just astonishing. And I mean, people have been complaining about this for a while. People of different races and women, like, hey, this is kind of systemic and this is bad. This is the most epic level of failing up, and we are all going to pay a price for it.
Yeah, it's like when I read that, you sent it to me, and we had a break down at the State House. I'm like, oh God, here I go.
Get up for it. Grab a drink, grab a glass of wine or something before you read it.
It almost felt like it's inevitable for them to get rich. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, the way he just was able to throw his family's money around. I mean,
and tell a story. That's it. He can tell a story.
Yeah.
I did believe he was like the founder of Tesla. He had some good ideas, but a lot of bad ones.
Yeah.
Even that was wrong.
Right. And, I don't want to take away the credit of going into a business and growing it, but what really sucks is what he's become. And it's so the antithesis of what I thought he was. I mean, like, even give him, some limited credit for that. Doesn't like giving credit. It just makes it almost sadder for me that like he's turned into this right wing. Like today he's tweeting about the AfD, the alternative for Deutschland, which is like the neo-Nazi party.
Yeah, not good. Wait, do we know what happens when Nazis come into power? Like, do we have historical evidence
combined with America not intervening or having a party that doesn't want to stop it?
Yeah,
bad for the Jews. I can tell you that.
For a lot of people.
Then I'm one of them.
I mean, even like how many people died, not only in the Holocaust, but in the war. Like it was so much death worldwide. When
we receded from leadership and we allowed extremism to gain a foothold. But right now, he's the president. President Musk, I've seen invite VP Trump. I don't know where that leaves JD, but President Musk
I've not heard much from JD
tweeted 100 times against a bipartisan agreement.
Okay, this is how you know he hasn't grown anything. He is just tweeting. So is Trump. I'm sorry. You cannot run a company by tweeting. You cannot really run a country effectively by doing nothing but tweeting.
That's why, we really have to have a conversation about what oligarchy looks like in America. What does it look like when, multi-billionaires are able to use the incredibly massive platforms that they have to spread disinformation, to pull the strings of our elected officials. And largely what we saw is that he is able to influence government before he's even spent any dollars on their elections. So now we have Trump on the one hand saying that, he's going to primary all the Republicans. We got Elon Musk on the other hand saying he's going to primary all the Democrats, and between the two of them, between two wealthy folks, we're going to buy every seat in the country. I think that what we really need to talk about is campaign finance reform, and we need to talk about in Citizens United right now. That's what I think we witnessed throughout this. Oligarchs should not control our government, and Elon Musk certainly does not have the best interest of working people, no matter what Latin phrases he uses on Twitter. He doesn't have the best interest of a working person anywhere on this globe in mind.
It is chaos and it is exhausting.
So can we find 1 to 2 sane Republicans out there?
Well, here's the interesting thing. He's asking them to end the debt ceiling now, or suspend the debt ceiling. That is that's dogma for Republicans, to eliminate that. So he is asking them to truly suspend everything. And I think there are
here's what they're admitting. Tax breaks cost money.
Yeah.
Tax breaks on the wealthiest, tax breaks on corporation, they cost us money. They grow our debt. They are smart enough to know. And now they're admitting to everyone, tax breaks cost us money. Tax breaks raise the debt that we will incur as a country.
Yeah.
It's not just spending. There's another side of that equation, which they never really like to talk about. Now they're at least talking about it, admitting, turns out tax breaks cost us a bunch of money. And now they're fine with the debt ceiling going up because they want their tax breaks.
That is what always happens. You talked to me about this. Remember, they talk about tax cuts. And then when it comes time to be worried about the debt, what do they cut? What do they talk about cutting?
Spending.
And Health and Human Services and the VA.
Safety net.
The safety net. And so who does that target?
Yeah.
They give tax breaks to billionaires. This is the formula.
Yes.
And you told me this one time, and it was this epiphany that stuck with me. Tax breaks. Oh God, the deficit blew up. Now we have to cut.
Yeah.
Are they going to reverse the tax cuts for the billionaires?
No,
No.
as their donors.
They go, that's who like now runs the party.
That's
like
true.
Peter Thiel, who's JD Vance's benefactor, and Elon Musk, and a handful of other, actually quite a few other billionaires run the country. And Elon Musk quite literally runs the country. Like that escalated rapidly.
It did. That escalated quickly.
But the chaos, Amanda, like
That's what they're into, the chaos.
It reminds me every day we get closer. It's like reminding me of those 4 years of his first term. And it's just like mentally and physically draining.
I mean, I think chaos is a very clear strategy that works for them of like chaos. Oh, tax breaks for the wealthy. Don't
Right.
look at that.
Right.
Chaos. Look here. I mean, that's
Corporate tax cut. Don't forget about the corporate tax cut.
Corporate tax cut. But they whisper that.
Right.
And then it's chaos everywhere so that we don't pay attention to what's really going on or what we can really do about things. And I think all this chaos, it leads to real impacts of school shootings that we talked about it. I think it also this kind of chaos leads to, killing the United Healthcare CEO.
No.
Like it is just chaos because you think that's all there is chaos, and chaos is the way
And
to get
anger.
things done, and anger.
And vengeance.
But we don't often like stop and like take a breath. What can we do?
Yeah.
What's the most effective strategy here? Because that is not like clickbait. No news is like, hey, guess what? We calm down for a second and we really have a thought out strategy. That's not a sexy article to read for most people.
No, but we do like to leave the show on a positive note. And on that note,
there's another way. It takes a lot of work. How many years before you say what it is? How many years?
the first bill that I authored when I got elected in the Ohio House in 2019. I was elected in 2018. I got seated in 2019. So over 5 years.
5 years of work to do something significant when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah.
And this was work for 5 years that you worked on this. And what did you get done?
We passed insurance coverage for kids' hearing aids.
Yeah. So what does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
So like health insurers just wouldn't cover your kids' hearing aids if your kid needs hearing aid. They're like,
For non-federal plans, which is the majority of plans in Ohio, there is no mandate for coverage for kids' hearing aids, and they are classified as a cosmetic device.
Like earrings, like cute
Like
little earrings that you could
like-
trade with your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a total loophole that insurers have used to avoid paying for coverage. And I came down into the State House like, oh man, kids' hearing aids.
Easy.
Let's go, right?
Of course, we should let kids hear in school.
No. Oh my God. The interests against this were significant. And many, even though the fiscal impact is like nil. There's no impact to the state, and the impact on insurance plans is so little, but the positive impact for kids, it's just the right thing to do, but also economically. And this is how I win people over.
I mean, what happens when kids can't hear in school?
The cost of not intervening, very high. So what you have to sell them on is this is an investment in that child.
Yes.
Finally, at 2:15 a.m. Wednesday morning, I think you were
Investment.
asleep. I might have been texting you.
I was
You were
asleep. I was with you in my dream spirit.
I felt your positive vibes because the very last bill I voted on in the Ohio House of Representatives before I moved over to the Senate was Madeline's Law, had Madeline's Law in it. And the Senate passed it 4 minutes later, and it's on its way to the governor, who has said he will sign it. And we got it done. So
in a red state,
as
some
the sole
significant
Democrat on the bill.
healthcare,
Yeah.
sole Democrat on the bill, got it done. 5 years of work that, and this is meaningful family. So I want to talk about why it's called Madeline's Law. So Madeline, this is the name of one of our friends, their daughter, Madeline, who needed hearing aids. And they could probably tell the story much better than I, but they went to go get their hearing aids. You get like a trial period. And, the technician or the doctor said, all right, if you don't want them after this trial period, you can bring them back. And, Madeline's parents said, why would we bring them back? And they said, well, not everyone can afford them. So some parents will bring them back when they can't afford the hearing aid for their kids, and their kids will go without a hearing aid and not be able to hear in school. Yeah. And they were shocked to hear, one, the cost, but two, and then it wasn't covered by insurance, and three, that means some kids go without, and that it was so common that they have to make sure they tell parents that after the trial period, they can bring them back and incur no cost. Yeah. Like that is heartbreaking.
So it's just the right thing to do. And it left my heart so happy and full leaving and walking out for the last time as a member of the Ohio House. But I want to circle back to what you said, what leads to the anger and the shootings of CEOs, which nobody should be celebrating. If you're frustrated about healthcare and insurance, and which is a real thing, like acknowledging that absolute frustration, and that is something we have to work on.
But to be clear, the next CEO could be worse.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't even want to get into that game, but like the bottom line is get involved. Like in a red state.
Do something that means something.
Yeah.
Shooting that CEO didn't get any kid a hearing aid.
Right.
Your bill got kids hearing aids.
And we have done this in red states and blue states. Mm-hmm. There are bills right now in your state, I promise you, to expand healthcare access. Get involved and let's help people at this from the ground up, right? That is the right way to do it. And when you connected those two, I was like, wow. That is a powerful conduit for people who are feeling this frustration.
Yeah. And
to go do something
understandable.
Positive.
We should be frustrated with our healthcare system.
Yeah.
We're like the only country of all industrialized nations that hasn't been able to figure out universal healthcare. We should be frustrated, legitimate, right? What can we do right now? Well, we can work toward a solution like universal healthcare, but we also can do these steps at the state level to change healthcare access for people in that state.
And I promise you, it's incremental. It's incremental, tough work, but you can get results. And there are amazing legislators who are working, and often in bipartisan ways. My bill passed with wide bipartisan support to get these things done. Healthcare and people's like access to hearing aids, right to hear, not a partisan issue. You can cut beyond that, and you can make change. You really can. So. Left me feeling so positive and uplifted. And
you had so many parents, audiologists, so many partners in this.
Amazing coalition that came together, non-political, nonpartisan.
Just
parents,
want kids to hear.
And this bill would not have happened without them. All the people have let Ohio hear, and all the moms, audiologists, and the kids who showed up. Man, that was amazing. Because I could only get this thing so far. They stayed with this bill. And it was really awesome.
Yep. Yeah. That's meaningful.
Yeah.
No shortage of work to do. Just got to do something.
Yeah. Maybe take one breather over the holidays.
That's fair.
Right? We take a breath. Our kids are home, so there's no
Who knows what they're doing right now?
It got a little bit quiet, so we're going to have to go investigate what's going on. Oh, I heard one. Okay.
That's good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Homefront Headlines. I'm Casey Weinstein. This is my wife,
Amanda Weinstein.
And we'll see you next week.
Happy holidays.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.